I probably filmed over 300 episodes. And so like when I started, I remember my first 4 months was during COVID, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I have like the office closed, everything shut down, and it just like geared me into starting something new, you know, because you don't know what you want to do until you have time to do it, right? And I was so busy going. I was in the industry, bartending 15 years, finally got out of that, manifested like one sales job that paid me more than, you know, working 3 jobs ever could. And then I just like had time to like figure out what I wanted to do. So I just started the show, and then it's like now catapulted me into my wellness business and like deep healing and plant-based lifestyle and just like so much shit and so many people that I've met. It's not a lie when they say like when you heal yourself, you heal your generations through healing yourself. So like once I started healing myself, my parents were more open to healing themselves. You know, my mom went to therapy after losing my brother after like 7 years, you know, and then my dad now is better with his, you know, eating. He's getting better. He's not on coffee anymore, you know, like just little things because they want to do better for themselves because they see you doing better. So you're going to be the vessel to help other people.
What up? I'm here with my girl Angie. Now, my girl Angie is someone that I just met recently, but if you know me that I never meet a stranger. So no stranger at no point in time. So I hope when I met you a couple of months ago, I felt like no stranger. Angie and I are going to talk about a bunch of topics. We'll get into them from the vegan lifestyle, the industry, and marijuana. We'll talk about just life in general, and we'll get into other couple of things. But I want you to know that today, my interview with Angie is my 10th interview. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know what order this is going to go into, but this is my 10th interview for the Two Skill podcast that will be launching or has launched by the time you see this, to be very correct. It is the 10th episode. I'm so proud to be able to finally get to this point. And each and every week that I do the podcast, every time I meet with someone, my goal is to be a little bit more transparent. I feel like I have been very close to the cuff with my background in HR, 28 years. I try to keep that in professionalism, but this is an environment that should be very comfortable, and I want to be comfortable. And over the last months, 4 months now that I've been doing the podcast, I've gotten more and more comfortable with doing this. And so thank you, Angie, for being here. And thank you bringing your jersey into us, you know, today. I want you to make it even more comfortable, and hopefully you feel comfortable on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. Congratulations. I'm excited to be on the 10th episode.
Thank you.
Like I said, like when I started my podcast, like, I mean, it was wild, and I probably filmed over 300 episodes. And so like when I started, I remember my first 4 months was during COVID, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I have like the office closed, everything shut down, and it just like geared me into starting something new, you know, because you don't know what you want to do until you have time to do it, right? And I was so busy going. I was in the industry, bartending 15 years, finally got out of that, manifested like one sales job that paid me more than, you know, working 3 jobs ever could. And then I just like had time to like figure out what I wanted to do. So I just started the show, and then it's like now catapulted me into my wellness business and like deep healing and plant-based lifestyle and just like so much shit and so many people that I've met. And it's wild because we met through DJ Moni. Yes. Shout out to DJ Moni.
Yes, what up, girl?
And she did my rebrand for my website because I had interviewed her, and then she was like, we need to like do a rebrand. I'm like, I think I'm great.
Right.
You know, I'm like, I'm perfect
first.
And she's like, no, like we need
What
to
do you
like
wanna do
brand
that?
you. And I had no like idea of what that meant. You know, I was just running by myself, doing my own YouTube, trying to break the algorithm, putting out 10 videos a week. Like it was just a lot by yourself, doing all my own editing, all my own lighting. And then she's like, we need to like get you a website, get this thing going, like get some subscriptions, you know, things like that. And then so I always stayed friends with her, and then she would DJ, and then she moved away because that's what happens to all my friends here. They just move back
good
home.
ones move away. It was like they came for a little season to teach you a lesson, and then they're gone.
Yeah, because Vegas serves its purpose for everybody. Like I don't
does.
think it's a lifetime thing. It's 7 years for me now. I can't make it past 10. I won't.
Yeah.
You know, so
I gave myself 12 years.
How long you been here?
I've been here 3.
Okay.
I don't know why I gave myself that golden number, but I remember sitting in the car by myself one day, and I was like, I can see myself being here not 12 more years, a total of 12 years. I don't know why I thought it. I was like, why am I thinking 12 years? But I know I wanted to move out the country and retire out of the country. I know that for a fact, and I couldn't figure out when. And so I was like, I give myself 12 years. I don't know if I'm going to leave and go out the country right away at 12 years, but
I love that for
12
you.
years.
I'm doing that
Here.
in 2. Right?
There,
Because
okay.
I already bought land in Nicaragua where my family is,
yes.
half of my family. And so I'm going to start my retirement home next year, start building that. So my goal is to be out of here by 2026.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Like I said, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. You talk about starting your podcast. You're talking about the health and wellness business. So I want to like break those down and like get into them. So starting with what? What do you want to start with? Because your life is all.
Yeah, I'll start with the
encompassing.
podcast because it really geared me
Yes.
into everything else. And I just want to say for anyone watching and listening, y'all don't even understand the amount of work that it takes to like even get an episode out. You know, like no one sees the behind the scenes. No one sees you putting up these cameras, paying for anything, right? You have to really invest in yourself. And like, it's a lonely road, like, especially when you're start getting into like healing and things and really finding yourself. Like I would have never been able to like open up if I didn't start the show. So I just started like, first I just started interviewing with my girlfriends. We were doing like raunchy stuff. You know, and then I just started interviewing
I need to
like
be on that episode.
yeah, we were like we started my first episode was like on polygamy and like shit like that, and I was just like because my inspiration was Rude Jude. You know who that is?
I haven't heard.
Okay, he was like a radio guy he's from Michigan, but he always played on Shade 45.
Okay.
And he was like super raunchy, kind of like a new age Howard Stern. And I'm like, this is exactly how we talk in Jersey, but like I don't hear no women doing this, right? And then fast forward, I ended up interviewing him like years later on my show. But like I started with that, then I just started interviewing like business owners, people like my friends that were like rappers or like just friends that had something going on. And then it just like started gearing into like all different things. So when I started interviewing like actors and actresses, I got 20 person cast from this like independent film in the Bronx. And so he's like, I want you to interview 20 of my cast members. I'm like, all right, bet.
Okay.
So I started interviewing them, and it was just
numbers.
like their light was so different to me. Like they were so happy with their life. They were like smiling for no reason, and like I was so Jersey. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you so happy? Like, it's annoying, you know? Like, yeah, and now I get it because I'm that person that's like, hey, how you doing? You need help with something? You know, like, but it was weird. It was foreign to me. So then when I started interviewing these people, it like started gearing me into opening my mind to different things and being like, well, how did they get there? And now I'm having these like real authentic conversations with people because the podcast is Faded Truth. So we would either smoke or drink on the show.
Yes.
It opens people up more to be like,
Absolutely.
sometimes too much to where they're like, hey, can we redo that?
Yeah. Even if it's a glass of wine or something like that, like I'll start
Just take
there.
a little edge.
Just something to take the edge off.
Yeah. And so it I started interviewing like more people in health. I had like 5 buckets. So it's like, it was taboo, which was like sex work, dancers, sex talk, adult conversations. Then I had health and wellness. Then I had food porn where I would go to restaurants, go in the kitchen, like have them make food and then like interview the chef or the owner or whatever.
I got somebody for you. He was just on the show. I got somebody for you.
And then
food porn.
I did, what was it? Taboo, health and wellness, food porn. I can't even remember my own buckets. Cannabis, and I don't know my 5th one. I gotta look at my website.
But it sounded like all things you were passionate about.
Yeah.
Anyway, it wasn't something. I mean, the foreign was being kind of open and talking to everybody and being more joyous every day for no reason. Just because.
Creatives. That's
And
it.
then creatives.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's really. I mean, see, those are my buckets. Started with the creatives, and to me, creatives are in all of those buckets you talked about. Creatives or people who have this passion for something, like a passion, and not just like, oh, it's great, I can do it. I was born to do it, or I was taught to do it. It's one of those things like you wake up and you're passionate about doing it.
Right.
And that's why I have you on the show. Everyone else on the show is really because, my creative wasn't all encompassing of what you talked about.
Yeah, and like with the taboo, like with all the buckets, that people were like, you have to pick a niche. Like you have to, that's how you're going to pop. Like you have to have one thing. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about one thing. I got so much going on in my head and so many things I am interested in now. And this is like new for me. I'm like blooming as a person throughout this process. And I'm like, I can't just stick to one thing. Like
don't put me in a box.
Yeah, I'm not in a box. Like I can talk about sex one day and then talk about health one day. Like why not? Where's the
Healthy sex.
Hey,
Like,
sex is way better when you're healthy. Okay,
right.
So
There you go. Combine them all and then smoke afterwards.
right. So then it geared me into like getting into like Dr. Sabi. Are you familiar with him?
And you and I talked about that.
Yeah. So I went to his village in Honduras twice, and I actually detoxed there for like a full week each time, drank herbs, like you have real sea moss. And I had interviewed one of the consultants out here. Shout out to Eve. You can always get your minerals from her. And then I interviewed Isaiah, who's his grandson, Dr. Sabi's grandson. and he really runs like the company now and like takes care of everything after Dr. Sabi's passing. But once I started like really getting deep into healing, it was just like mind blowing for me, like how I realized like what we're consuming is directly connected to discomfort, disease, mental health, skin issues, stomach issues, like everything. And like people, they don't want to admit it because they like eating their shit 3 to 5 times a day.
Absolutely.
But at some point, like it doesn't matter. Like there's a difference between vegan and plant-based. Like vegan's ethical. It's for the animals. It's just saying like, I don't want to eat something. I don't want something to die for me to have to eat it type of thing. I don't want to eat something that's like stressed out, tortured. You know what I mean? You're putting that energy into you. But you can have vegans that are overweight, unhealthy, because there's a lot of junk food, right? Plant-based is for your health. So plant-based is like, I'm going to eat, you know, raw foods or whole foods or things that are alkaline, which is like non-inflammatory, just to heal yourself. So that's the difference. Like they will never call themselves vegan. They're always going to be plant-based in that industry because they're doing it for health reasons. I do it for both. So overall, I just do both.
Was that the catalyst for you to get into the health by going to that retreat, or were you already on a journey to try to like get yourself healthy, or was there something that happened health-wise that you said it's time for me to get healthy? Because in our age, like age groups, yes, when you're younger, whatever your parents, you know, gave you, and then later on, it's whatever you're just liking and, you know, fasting and or craving, and then it gets into now, okay, look, I'm turning 20, I'm turning 30, I'm turning 40, I need to do something different. So tell me that journey.
I just turned 35 last month, and then at 30 is when I started the show pretty much, and I was like, something has to change. I'm the same toxic, angry person that came from Jersey to Vegas. Like, you know, like nothing changes when you move states. It's just your surroundings, but like you got to go in, you know? So I actually started with health and wellness as far as like therapies, and I was doing like intense energy therapies and like real trauma releasing things, because for me, like me sitting down and talking to someone and then being like, how do you feel about that, was like not going to work for me, which is like, it doesn't work for 90% of people, and that's why they still have these issues. So I went like deep into different types of healing, and then it kind of, you know, pushed me into diet as well, because once I interviewed Eve, it was all new to me. I never heard of sea moss. I never heard of minerals. I didn't know that my body wasn't getting what I needed daily. I'm eating the same steak and chicken burrito every day with broccoli, thinking I'm being healthy. And then they're like, all these things are so inflammatory. So I actually was doing a quantum healing session, which is like energy therapy, where they like kind of like release your chakras, and they're very like spiritually connected to where they like know things before you do. So I was in like this quantum healing session, and she's like, there's something wrong with your liver. And I'm like, how do you know that? Like, you don't even you don't know that shit. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to send you to this holistic doctor out here. I want you to go see her. So like I talked to this holistic doctor in Vegas. I get live blood work, which is where they like prick your finger. They put it under the microscope. You can literally see what's in your blood. I had parasites in there. It was like a mess. And it tells you like, hey, this is uric acid in your kidneys. This is your hormones are imbalanced. Like you can see from your cells, you know, they do like a dry and a wet. And it was like so deep. And I was like, what the hell? And so basically they told me that, you know, I mean, I was drinking since I was 13, bottles of vodka. Like I bartended 15 years. Like it was just normal lifestyle for us to drink at any point of the day. And you don't think when you're young that like it's going to come back and affect you, especially at 30. Yeah. You know, like I'm 30 something. My liver's about to give out, because they were like, your liver's pretty much fucked. Your kidneys are going to be next if you don't change something. Yeah. And then I was on birth control pills for like 15 years, never thinking like, oh, my body has to process this medication, right? Which is why I'm always like big on plants over pills now, because our kids, our grandparents, they get so much pharmaceutical drugs to them that are supposed to be helping you. But we already know like, you know, that industry is all about profit anyway. So I realized from like the combination of drinking and medications my whole life that it was like breaking me down. So that's when I went to Dr. Sabi's Village the first time. And I definitely didn't take full advantage, because I was grossed out. Like you're drinking bitters, you're drinking like real herbs, you know? And I'm like, I've drank straight liquor my whole life, and I'll rather drink that than this, you know? Like I wasn't eating the food. I was like still kind of weird about it, you know? And now I'm like a plant-based chef over here.
That's amazing.
You know, I take my herbs every morning, like, because I realized taste is relative. And so I started healing through the minerals and through an alkaline diet. And that's how I started getting into it. And I did that for almost 3 years before I went like full in plant-based. And so I was like dabbling at home. I wouldn't cook any like meat or dairy. When I went back to Jersey, I would eat my cheesesteaks, my pizza, you know, everything. And I'm like, oh, it's good to have balance. But then I would keep getting my blood work, and it still would be something off, you know? And then once I realized if I like make this full switch, because like I want to be healthy, because I have so many people I have to take care of, you know, and it's okay for everyone else to do what they want to do. But at the end of the day, like if you're having strokes, if you're having all these things, like we have to change what you're consuming. You have to, whether it's you add something in or you take something out, little little by little. Maybe you have one day a week that's like a meatless Monday, just something, you know, like you have to do it, because who wants to be 50, 60 with diabetes, cancer, all these things, like they're directly connected to mostly everything that we're eating. And it's like, I always say, control what you can. Like as people, we can't control what they're putting in the air, what's on TV, but you can control what you're watching,
what you're putting in your body,
who you're with, what you're eating, what you're consuming, you know, mentally and physically. So once I saw the change in my blood work from just being down there for even like a week, I was like, oh, this shit's real, you know? And then next year when I went back, I took like full advantage. I'm like drinking twice the herbs. I'm like, can I have extra? You know, I'm like all excited.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I'm like, I'm excited to see what this does.
Yeah. And I think that my personality would have been to do it all and say, I'm here. I came all this way. I'm going to do it all. And probably would have hated myself in the midst of it. But I'm like an all in or nothing. I'm not doing it if I'm not going to go all in, which is why I haven't done the retreats yet. Because I want to do everything, hypnotherapy, whatever it is, just to kind of I want to dig up old stuff. I feel like I don't feel like my time is coming, you know, shortening. It's shortening, but I don't feel like I have to do everything today. But at the same time, I feel like I need to start everything as soon as possible. Like I've wasted enough time. I was 16 as a mom, and then I was mom and not doing what I needed to do. And we ate a lot of, you know, microwavable foods and different things. So health wise, and my gut health sucks. So we definitely need to talk about that. So I can figure that out. For the last like 8 years, I've been like torturing myself with my own gut health and not going to go seek help and trying to take stuff away. And so, but it's one of those things as well. Once I do it, I want to go all in.
You can't put too much pressure on yourself, though.
That's what scares me, because I know my personality. Everything I do, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Right. Or I'm not gonna do it at all. And so that which is so much more important, my health, mentally, physically, and all those things like that. My gut health is so important. I just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to stop so much.
You feel like it's lack, but you're gaining so much.
And I am.
And that's the thing. Once you start doing it, you're gonna be like, wow, I feel better. Like I wake up and I don't have this gut feeling. Right. I don't have this pit in my stomach.
And that's what I'm ready for.
You know, I don't have these migraines or like whatever it is that is being caused. There's so many factors, right? It's not just diet. I mean, people can say like, oh, well, you smoke weed, that's unhealthy, right? But it's like, you know, you want to pick your poison, I guess, in a way. But I'm gonna pick the healthiest poison I can find. Like the weed I smoke is not sprayed. I know it's organic. I know it's sun grown. I know my growers. You know, I was smoking weed since I was 13 too, and who knows where the hell it came from, right? So it's like, you just got to know what you're doing. You cannot, I would never recommend anyone to just cold turkey a diet unless they're already physically, you know, very ill, because you're going to just, like you said, you're going to try and go in and you're going to crash. You're going to go back and you're like, that didn't work. Right. But it wasn't that it didn't work. It's that you didn't work. And you didn't ease yourself in. It took me years to get here. And the only reason I went fully vegan was because I did ayahuasca. You know what that is?
I want to do it. And that's what I said. This is what I'm saying. When I go to retreat, there's one in, in South America that I want to go to. Peru. Yeah. I want to do the one in Peru and like go all the way in. I read about it. I was ready to pay for it and everything. And I was like, oh, do I really want to deal with past demons?
Did you read the article? No, my article that I sent you?
So okay.
That's the one I said if you want to get deep, because it'll go. So I did my first retreat. Well, not retreat. I did my first ceremony. I have a shaman in Vegas. He's Peruvian. I got all the plugs for everything that you need. So I just did one last April, and it was actually through one of Moni's friends that had met at a lingerie rooftop party. And I just met her there. Like we exchanged IGs. We never talked. And then one day, like we're gonna like, you know, try and hang out. And she's like, well, I have a ceremony this week. We'll do it next week. And I'm like, what kind of ceremony? And she's like, ayahuasca. And I'm like, I've heard about it. I've like thought about it. And at this point, I've done like different energy therapies. Now I started believing in things that I would never believe in my life. And so I'm like, tell me more, you know? And what she tells me, like, it would deter anybody from doing it. And I'm like, fuck it. Let's go. Let's do it. What do I have to lose except more trauma, you know? So it was wild. And I did my second one June of this year. Okay. So the article that I sent you is, I wrote it over 8 months after I did my ceremony in April. I wrote for 8 months about each month what happened to me, the good, the bad, the ugly. And it, like, you will never be the same person again. And after I did that is when I went fully, I watched this documentary called Dominion on YouTube. And I've always been like an animal person. I went to like college before I had to drop out and go into survival mode. Like I went for animals, and I thought I was going to be like a vet or a zoologist or a marine biologist or something, you know. And I really never connected everything until I did ayahuasca, because it opens your brain to like really see facts for facts, you know? And so I've never been more okay with any decisions I've made, because it's like what I'm researching, or I know like how things make me feel, or my compassion, or like, it's not, you know, it's just that we're like bogged down with everything. I mean, we think everything's normal.
Everything is, we're used to it, and we have to teach our brain to think differently. Right now, I'm thinking, that's what I was looking at, thinking, Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty. Reading that book right now already has been like, it's stuff that I'm thinking about, stuff that I want to do. I mean, at points in the book, I constantly say, let me just go become a monk. Can I become a monk?
That's crazy.
Can I become a monk? Let me just change my life. And what do I have? What do I have to lose? What you just said, what do I have to lose right now? But lessons, or, you know, learning is a learning thing. Nothing I'm losing is something I'm going to gain, whether it's painful or so different. And I'm okay. And I'm ready for that, like right now. And I feel like if I didn't start so early, starting a family, having kids and things like that, I would have been more on that. I was very spiritual as a kid. I was the one child who, I say this on one of my other podcasts, that would make sure I made it to church. And I was asking, oh, you go to church on Sunday? Can I go can you ask your mom if I can go with you? Can you ask? And I was so into it. And then I got to a point and I started having kids and distractions in life and forgot all about what I wanted to do. And so taking time for myself, I'd love to be able to do that. I also went and seen somebody years ago, and I never talk about all the stuff we talk about, because that's what she said in the session. Don't share all the things we talked about. The stuff I'm talking about to you, don't share every moment of it. But it was eye opener. It was she did like a regression, and it was a whole situation. I did it for about 8 weeks. I would see her and we would talk about different things. She's from looking at pictures. She asked me to bring pictures of coworkers, friends, family members. And she just basically kind of dug into that. And at first I was like, this is so weird. I was in my 20s when I did this. This is so weird. But let me tell you, everything that she talked about, if I can find that lady right now, and she probably is in the same place, is coming to light. And it's the truth. And, she was like, you've definitely got to dig. You definitely have, and this is, spiritual stuff, but you definitely have from past generations that are plaguing your life. And I'm like,
yeah, like generational traumas and poverties and all these things.
Like more on the spiritual side too, like kind of not really, she didn't talk about demons, but kind of like curses, generational curses put onto the women in your family. Okay. And these are the times. So my relationships wise, I actually really do attribute, it makes so much sense. And I look around at my aunts and my cousins and the women, and I'm like, we all kind of have this issue. And it's not just that we're powerful, we don't need men and we can fight. No, it's just, what is it within our past that we need to work on now? And so I would love to go and to do a past life regression and look into that and just deep and let whatever happen.
Yeah, because you don't know what your ancestors went through.
Absolutely.
So when you do ceremony, like the first ceremony I did was for myself, but the second one was like for my mom and like the women in my family. Like you feel it, right? Because you're like breaking these patterns, because there's a chosen one in every family. Okay. The crown is heavy as fuck to wear, and it's fucking lonely as shit, because a lot of times your family is not even going to appreciate that you're breaking these curses for them. They don't even know that. They see you succeeding and they get very like hate or envious, because, I was the only one in my family that didn't get into abusive relationships or didn't have kids young. And because I saw it around me. And since I was little, I was just like, I can't do it. Like I have to get out of here, and that's why I picked up and moved to Vegas, because at that point, like my brother had just passed away. I had lost all 3 jobs from the economy in Atlantic City. I was just like, I'm at rock bottom. What do I do? And like people would be like, well, why don't you just stay and support your family? I'm like, because I couldn't stay there and like help them in any way. I had to leave to be able to help them. Right. You know what I mean? And like me just picking up and moving across the country wasn't really a big thing for me, because I wasn't close to anybody. I always had like super hard emotional walls up because of my life. And I just think it helped me be able to leave, because now I'm actually learning love. I'm learning love from my family and my friends. And that's what I've been learning over the years, because I never like really experienced it, and I never knew how to receive or give it. And so I would definitely recommend doing Aya when you're ready to never be the same again.
Well, sign me up.
Yeah, because it's
not here. Is it here? Is it local?
Yeah, there's a shaman in Vegas. He does them all over the states, and he's Peruvian. So you're getting the traditional ceremony.
Okay.
And you throw up a lot. It's that's the part that scares people, but you're like throwing up trauma. Yeah. So after my first ceremony, I like within 5 hours, I spoke to my dad again for the first time in years. He's deported forever. So I lost like 16 years with him after he went to prison. I lost like 25 years with my family there. And that was 1 year ago that I actually went back to visit him for the first time. and I'm already building a house ready to move there, you know? So it's
Yes.
wild how the trajectory, because I had so much trauma connected to him that I just thought we would never talk again. And in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm okay with that. But it's like, are you really? Because like, that's a connection that was so good at one point. And every girl needs their father in some type of way, you know? So
If you can get them in your way. I mean, I have my own kind of
Yeah.
bed of things like that. I would love to be able to have the relationship with my father that I always dreamed of. Like I wasn't a girl who dreamed of getting married and walking down the aisle. I really wasn't. So when
Me
you're
either.
talking about not bond, I just wasn't like that. So if I have a relationship, great. I am a person who's been in relationships. It's more so because I'm now, I call it out of the rat race. And I'm like, good, and check off. That's a check mark. And I have actually talked to my partner about this because I was like, I've never been one like, oh, I have to get married. But I definitely did want the relationship with my father and my mother. You know, my father and my mother are the two strains for me that I really would love to have had a better connection with them. They're both here and living. My father is, he's in the Bay Area. He's still living his life. He's still trying to figure it out. He is a Rolling Stone. We'll kind of go in there because that's some of the later on down the line shows that I do want to dig into of his, you know, where he came from, where he was, and how it impacted me all my life.
Right.
And then my mother, who was always there as a mother to me, who she now has dementia. So all past traumas that I had with her, or things that I wanted to just settle with, or just ask her the question, or just get the reassurance for, I feel like I'm not going to ever get that. I know I'm not going to ever get that because where she is, the stage in which she's in is so far gone that those conversations that I thought I should have had earlier, but thought I wanted to have, I cannot have anymore. And so I have to figure out how to internally dig into myself to figure out and like heal without, right. And here's the thing too, to be honest, can we really heal from our parents telling us sorry, or yes, I do love you. Yes, I do, you know, respect you. Yes, I do. I'm proud of you. Those are the things that I wanted my mother to like really tell me if you're, because she never really told me. She was definitely separate. Her emotions were separate from just living. And so we didn't get the I love yous. We didn't get the hugs. We didn't get the kisses. And so if my mother were to do that right now, would it actually heal me completely? No, I think that's still stuff I have to dig into and figure out. And how did, you know, when this happened at 15 and 20 and 30 and, you know, 40, when this happened at 40, how did I respond based on my upbringing and what I didn't get? And so I have to work on that, and I know that. And sometimes it's still daunting though. I'm like, well, where's my help?
It's lingering. You know, that's the thing. I had so much things lingering in my spirit. And like now when people see me from Jersey, they're like, oh my God, you're like a light. You look great. Like you look happy. I look younger than I've ever looked. Like I look younger than I did in my 20s.
Yeah, your skin looks
you
amazing.
Know? Like it's wild how like when you just release things you just look better and you feel better. And so it's not a lie when they say like when you heal yourself, you heal your generations through healing yourself. So like once I started healing myself, my parents were more open to healing themselves. You know, my mom went to therapy finally after losing my brother after like 7 years, you know, and then my dad now is better with his, you know, eating. He's getting better. He's not on coffee anymore, you know, like just little things because they want to do better for themselves because they see you doing better. So you're going to be the vessel to help other people. You know, like people can only say for so long like that what you're doing isn't working, because when they see it's working, they're going to be like, what are you doing?
What are you
doing?
look
Look great.
Yeah,
You
I would
lost
like to
weight.
know that,
You know what I mean? Whatever it is. And then now you tell them. So that's what, like, you just have to do the work, and it's so fucking hard because I've been doing this for 5 years now. Like when I have my clients in my wellness business, I do a 6 to 8 week boot camp online. And I just put everything in there that I've learned over 5 years. I do. I've always been in fitness, so I like put together a workout plan for them, whether it's at home or at the gym. And then I put together a diet plan for them. I give them like cookbooks, recipes, and I tell them if you do 50% of the work in this boot camp, you'll feel 100% better. Like this isn't meant to be overwhelming. I give them all my habits, like whether it's manifesting, affirmations, stretching, meditations, like nervous system resets, like anything that I have done in my life. Because what I did was I just put in that work. I learned how to go to yoga for the first time ever and meditate and stretch and like sit with my thoughts, and that was even scary. You know, like I had to go through these things, and it took me months and months and months of going every week to like be able to sit with myself, you know? And like most people can't do that because you're used to being overly stimulated. You have to be listening to something. You have to be watching something. Your fingers have to be moving, right? And now like there's nothing better to me than just driving with no music or like being in peace.
I do that.
You know?
Oh my goodness. My best moments of the last 3 years was packing up my stuff in California, putting it as much as I could in my Mini Cooper for my first trip. So I had to bring my car here, and I was like, I'm gonna just drive it here. I'll fly back and get my things with the moving company. I sat in that car for hours. I mean, it's an 8-hour drive from where I was. 8 hours. I sat in the car for hours and didn't realize I didn't have the music on. I was just with my thoughts. A few times, what I did was I turned on my my memo pad, the voice recorder, and what I did was I talked about my upbringing, talk about things that I want to put in a book. If I were to write this book for my children and my grandchildren, what would I want to say? And so every once in a while, when I thought about something from my childhood, again, because I'm opening my mind now, I'm not hearing the music. I'm opening my mind and thinking about old stuff, new stuff, and this is a big move. First time moving outside of California, and I'm moving by myself without my children, and nothing, just me and my little Mini Cooper packed to the brim. And that to me, I was like, I need to do more of this. This was good. Okay, I don't know what direction I'm gonna drive in next time, but I need to do more of this. And instead, and here's the thing, I didn't just say that 3 years ago. I actually have implemented that when it comes to even on a flight. So if I'm flying and I have to fly for whether it's 16 hours when I go, somewhere, or 20 something hours, I take the time. A lot of times I don't even watch the TV. I just take the time and I put my earbuds on to make it look like I'm, I don't want someone talking to me next to me. Even if I fly with someone, I put them in and I'm just with my thoughts. And so I basically figure out ways to incorporate that long drive into my whatever I had to do. If I'm at the airport, I'll put earbuds in. If anybody sees me at the airport with earbuds in, 99% of the time there's no music playing, by the way. But I don't want other people to talk to me, and I want to block out the noise. And that's like, I'm not sitting out in front of my computer having to work. I'm not doing anything else. I'm like, this is my me time right here. And it's been so helpful within the last 3 years.
I'm happy you're doing that for yourself.
Yes.
It's like not a lot of people are going to ever think to do that. Like you have to start and then you have to keep going. It's consistency. Like none of this is overnight. You're never going to actually be fully healed. Everything's still a journey. Like you might be like, oh, that was great. I got that out my way. And then something else comes and slaps you in the face, I still have things I have to heal with certain family members and things, but for the most part, like it's wild how like at peace I feel and how I've changed everyone's life just by changing myself, and giving them the gateway to now say, wow, there is more to life than being poor. There is more to life than being mad and angry and violent. And like, there's so much more. Like we're only here for a short time and we have one vessel, right? Like I never used to believe that because like I grew up Baptist and we were Sunday Christians,
Yes.
And so I had this like very negative stigma about God. Went to a Christian high school because my parents didn't want me to end up like my siblings. I got everyone to smoke weed at prom, so we couldn't walk at graduation. All 20 of us, And I reconnected with like God once I did Aya, because it's almost like that movie Limitless, where Bradley Cooper and his brain is open, but it's like not overwhelming. So as soon as I did my first ceremony, I just realized, I was like, there's like a God in me. Like there is nothing outside that can change anything. I'm the only person that can change my life. Like I just had this overpowering feeling of like, I can do anything I want if I want to. Like, why can't I just decide that I want to do this and do it? Like, what is stopping me?
Right.
I'm the only person stopping me, So once I realized like we all have this God in ourselves, because they say, God made man in creation, or man is made in the image of God or something.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I know it. It's on. Yes. Oh my God. We're going to put it on. It'll be on here. Yes.
But like, that's facts, right? So now it's not condescending. It's like, well, if God made me, I actually have a part of God in me. God's all powerful. So it doesn't matter who you believe in, Jehovah, Muhammad, like God, Jesus, whatever. Like you have to believe in a higher source. You could just call it source. You could call it the universe, like whatever you want to call it. But like you were put here by something,
right,
and you have that power from whatever put you here. So like once I learned that, it was like game over for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I've been having this whole thing in myself this whole time and I didn't know it.
It is.
And then I just started excelling, and like even more than before, because I was always a hustler, but I just always thought you had to do more to get more, right? And like you just have to be a little more patient.
Maybe you have to do less though,
and ease.
It's opposite. You have to do less to get more. You're opening up. You're just having this conversation. You're opening up so much stuff. I know. Like I have it. Honestly, if someone were to say, "What's your main reservation about moving forward or doing kind of like this rejuvenation, if you will, of life, ceremony and open up all this stuff like that?" I said, because there's a few things that I want to hold on to. I like, the thought of a relationship that may or may not go anywhere, right? I like it, but do I love it? No. And to me, I think I already know what's going to happen. That's the thing. I already like, oh, if I go through this, ooh, you gotta go. This is going to happen. And so it basically is me like saying these silent, and not to say I'm not going to do it. I'm going to. I know I'm going to do it. It's one of those things where I'm like saying goodbye to certain things, people and things in my life right now. And I'm like, I just want a little bit of time to say goodbye, because I think once I do this, I know me. Again, I'm all in or nothing. If I do this, I'm not coming back to the same stuff, or should I say shit. I want to come back into it and use what I've learned and apply it immediately. And with that, I already know there's a few things that's got to go.
Well, see, you already know it.
I do.
If you already know it, then you are just hanging on to it.
I'm just hanging.
Right. So, I mean, it's going to affect everyone differently. I mean, there's some people that come out and they quit their jobs, or they quit their relationship or something, because they're like, oh, that's not for me. Right. So it is scary. I cut off a lot of friends too, because I was just like, there's no purpose in our conversations. We're not having the conversations I want. They're not beneficial to my life, my business, my goals,
My health, my mental health. If it's draining, if I don't want it, if it, like, I have this whole little thing of I don't want it anymore. I don't want it. No.
But once you have that bubble around you, it's not even like you won't even meet the same type of people, because they already see your light and they are scared of it. They cannot come near you. Like, it's wild that I don't even meet toxic people anymore. I don't. Like, everyone I meet is like a business owner, networking. I'm the one on the plane talking to people, right? Like, I met this guy who healed himself of stage 4 prostate cancer. Oh, wow. We're talking about herbs, and like, it's just wild that like no one's by coincidence, right? No one's ever a stranger. Ever. They're always placed there for some reason. But I noticed once I started working on myself, that I was just meeting amazing people. And I'm like, wow, this is how people like start building their businesses and networking, and like actually making connections that can get you to the next level. Because now I'm not like, the fuck do you want from me?
Right.
Why are you talking to me? Why are you looking? I'm not that person anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I'm like, how can we benefit each other? What can we gain? Like, what's up? How can I help you?
Exactly. I find that people with negative energy still, because they're out there, and there's so much more people with negative energy that don't know what to do with it. Then they're not, unfortunately. But I find those people tend to gravitate to me because they're like, I want the energy you have. I want to be on the level I want to have the peace I see you having. I actually had a long post about it, and I didn't think it was going to do anything, and it had a couple thousand people liking or resharing, a couple people sharing it, because I really was saying I am that energy. It was a boastful post, and so I have to look for that out. It was a boastful post, I felt, but it was like, I feel like you are attracted to me because of my positive energy. You're attracted to me because I turn the one situation around. Whatever you come to me with is never coming back with something negative, and I'm here to bring that positive energy. So people tend to be attracted to me, and like, as if they want that healing. I'm like, no, I'm not the monk. You need to go see the monk, and you need to go see the other people, because I'm not ready for that. But also at the same time, I'm not saying that I'm not going to be here for that, because that may be my end goal.
It might be a calling for you. It may be
my calling for me to be able to heal. And whether it's a show like this, or if it's a situation where I'm just doing one-on-one sessions with people, I want to leave myself open to that. But that, to me, in my mind, I was like, well, that's not what I'm doing. But I definitely keep seeing it more recently than not, because I am being so positive that people who have a really crappy background, and I'm like, God, why do you keep bringing me these projects?
Well,
and some of them I have to push away and say, no, this is not the type of energy I want to bring around me right now, and I can't, I can't help you. Let me push you to someone else, and I can just be present. And I think a lot of people just like me to be. They're happy with me being present. They're not asking me a bunch of questions. They're like, I like to be in your presence. Knowing you or talking to you makes me feel good.
And that's when you start realizing that my presence is expensive and exclusive.
Very much
right?
So.
Because I can't pour into all you guys, and then are we giving the same energy back and forth, or are you just taking it? Because there's a lot of energy vampires.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I'm really proud of you that you're like, it's wild that you're on the same path that I was, starting my show, getting into it. Because this is what geared me into even being open-minded to anything, So I don't know if you were already on that path before of like trying to get into these things.
I started and stopped during COVID. So,
okay.
And then I started that, and then COVID happened, and I was like, I need camera people. I need need a whole crew. I need everything else. And I was like, think smarter. And then I came back now. That was 2019. I want to say that 18, excuse me. I had started the show, was going to get it out. We had 8 shows going, and then I stopped the show. And I was just, actually, I was in my car posting about this. Like, I started the show with the same intentions to talk to people, creatives, talk to people. It really was more focused on businesses, brick and mortar businesses. So I'd go to their business and talk to them, whether it was a hair shop or something else. I would talk to them about how they started a business, entrepreneurship, their passion, the fears of letting go of your 9-to-5 job to just start your own thing, and what that was about. Now I'm like, no, I want to focus on even more creatives. I don't want to just bottle. To your point of people were saying pick a niche, pick a niche, and I was like, I'm struggling with this, and now I'm getting deflated because that's not just what I want to do. Nothing I do in life is there's a lot of repetition in life, but nothing I do in life is just, it's not kind of written out for me. I kind of like figure it out every day. I pre-plan, right, for the day, not the month, not the year. I just had someone outside ask me, you know, what's your New Year's goals? What are you trying to do this next year? Look, first of all, I don't set New Year's goals. I don't set New Year's goals. I set, my birthday's in February, so it's right after New Year's. So February 16th, anyone who wants to send me a gift, go ahead. Okay, I'll send you my cash app. My birthday's in February, so in February, I set these kind of like, okay, I'm a year older. What do I need to work on? What do I want to do this next year? What do I want to accomplish around this time next year? What do I want to be able to say differently this year? And each and every time I do that plus probably 10 more things. And for some people that might be wow. It's like, hey, you trying to do a little bit of everything. And I am, but it feels good to me. It doesn't feel like I'm running away from anything. I had someone ask me one time, he's like, why do you travel so much? What are you doing? So what are you running from? You mean running to?
Yeah.
Because running to, getting up and going out of the country and learning other people and cultures and things like that, that inspires me. So I am seeking inspiration that's not inside my bubble, because in my bubble, people don't travel. They're still waiting to get a passport. There are those people saying, next time you go, let me know because I want to go too, and never put their deposit down. So I am always seeking those people who are already out there. You're there already. I'm seeking those people who are in, Nicaragua, you've been, there, like Costa Rica or something. Every time I go to a different country, I meet people who are like expats there, and they're like, I'm like, when are you going home? Oh, I don't know.
Right.
Or I'm not. Yeah.
Well, travel's the only thing that you spend money on, and it makes you richer.
Every single time.
I'm going to Mexico next week for the holidays.
I am a billion trillionaire from my travel so far. You going where next week?
I'm going to Cabo.
I need to go.
Look, because I was like, my dog is scared to death of the fireworks. Last year, they were going off for like 12 hours in my neighborhood. I got DMX on 100. Like, I don't even go home for the holidays. That's how much I hate the cold. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we just go to Mexico? Cabo's a 2-hour flight.
Beautiful weather.
Get there quick. So I just got me and her a villa to myself.
Away from from the regular city life, because Cabo still plays those fireworks. Go.
Right. Well, I was like, if I'm going to have to deal with it, I'd rather deal with it on a beach.
Yeah.
They have a private beach in this thing
great.
I'm going to. Just going to take her, chill. I really wanted just to like pour back into me, because it has been a great year, but it's also been a rough year for me. I've had some losses. I've had like some lessons, and I just want to pour back into myself. Like, I used to read a chapter a day at least. I've been slacking on my reading. I've been slacking on certain things that I know I need to do that just make me feel good and make me like get into that spirit of being able to pour into other people. But I just been pouring into everybody all year. And now I'm like, you know what? I need like 10 days to just pour into myself. Got a pool on the roof, lay out. I don't want to have fucking do nothing. The chef can come.
Yeah.
My massages can come. Like, I'm queen of self-care.
And I'm trying to, I'm trying to find it back and be like, I'll just be over here quiet in this other room. I'll just be in this other room and be quiet. But my travel, there's never a dull moment in my life. But travel is like the number one thing that I make sure to make time for. I don't care I do not care where it is. And so I make sure to put that on my list. My birthday month, February again. I plan to most of the month is already gone. A lot of months I've been actually taking a full month and just traveling or doing something every single week or all month. This year I'm going to the Philippines, and then one way. And I don't know what I'm going to do after that. And Philippines are already going to be, I think it's 10 days that we'll be in the Philippines. And then after that, I'm like,
where's your favorite country you've been to?
South Africa.
Okay.
I can't get away from that. Every time I keep on going to places and I'm like, South Africa, just maybe. And I say this, and I couldn't figure out, I didn't have one quick sentence for it until about 4 years ago, but I was saying it was the one place that made me put my phone down and say, I just want to be. And I can't.
Is it the culture? Is it the landscape? Like, what's
all of it? But because when I growing up, what you see on TV is those commercials where they show you all the sad things happening in Africa in general. So in my mind, I had already prepped myself, stomached to see poverty poverty and see hurt and see flies around kids and bubbles, stomachs inflamed from infection. And I had already had that mentally in my head, though granted, doing a little bit of research over the years, you see that there's other places, but I was thinking like, obviously there's a lot of that going on. That's why that's all they showed. And so I mentally prepared. And when I got there, I was like, it is so beautiful here. It's amazing. I'm on a beach with penguins and it's sunny and there's penguins on the beach.
That's awesome. I love penguins.
I'm at a waterfall and I'm here. I'm on Table Mountain and I'm like, this view is amazing. The food was great. The people, welcome home, my sister. Oh my gosh. When I first heard it the first time was one thing, but each and every time we would go to a different part of South Africa, I would hear that again and I'd get ignited again. Welcome home, my sister. I'm like, I'm home. Okay.
Yeah. The motherland.
I don't even know, I don't even know what part it, but hey, thank you. You've welcomed me here.
Right.
And it wasn't, again, it wasn't just one person. It was people around the way. I mean, I had a couple proposals. People were looking for their wife. He said, "Can you be my third, fourth wife?" I'm looking. People would say that. That was all in jokes to me, but I'm sure somebody was serious. But at the same time, I just felt so welcome there.
Mm-hmm. So you just felt at home.
At home.
That's like a rare
feeling. In a place to where it wasn't glamorous and on the beach. Did we have nice days? Yes, we went to some nice places and stayed in some nice places, but it wasn't about having the glamour. It was just about being with the people. And also the thoughts that I had about it were all debunked by me going there. And I was like, that's what I wanted. Because as a kid, being a kid who was also one who wanted to go to church, but I also was very emotional. So I was always so sad. All of Africa in my mind were just starving. Mom, can we please adopt a child from Africa? You see, now they were talking about us sending money to adopt the child, not really take the child, but I want her to adopt a child. She's like, no, no. They have cannibals over there. And so she just helped, manifest this crazy world that was over there. And I was happy to be able to say, I got to see it for myself. Mom, it's not that scary. It's okay. Even though she doesn't understand me no more. That's what I always want to say. Mom, I did it. I went. It's not as scary as you thought it was. She's never been really anywhere outside of, on a cruise, maybe if you went outside the country, maybe to Mexico, but she's never went anywhere. Yeah. And in her mind, she was like, no, the world is a scary place.
Yeah. And do you have the problem that when you travel, when you come back into the States, do you ever get depressed?
Oh, every time.
Yeah.
Every time. This is what my not biological clock, my travel clock ticks. And it's basically telling me it's time again. Like when I start to feel a little angst, when I start to feel depressed, I'm like, what is going on? And if I book a trip or if I look on the calendar and remind myself, oh, I got a trip next month, my mind is like, you got 2 more weeks. You got 3 more weeks. We got this. And when I'm here, I'm focused and I'm doing what I need to do. But the other side of me is also always ready for that vacation. I did a little micro vacation and went to Puerto Vallarta, which is a place that a friend has a place there and he like offers it up. And right on the beach, 3 bedrooms. And I'm like, I need to go there. I reached out to him and he was like, it's available he said, it's available next week if you want it. And I'm like, I will be there. Look, went online, booked it. I didn't care what the price was for the flight. Right. I'll be there. Went there for 4 days and just was there and it recharged me so much more. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go again. Right. I can deal with the U.S. again.
And that's why the expats stay down there. Yeah, and that's why like people are like, you're going to move out of the country? Like, aren't you scared? And I'm like, no, like my first option, I wanted to do Thailand. And then once I reconnected with my family, I'm like, why would I move around the world, build these memories with my family that I haven't seen in over 20 years? And it's a beautiful, beautiful country. And I feel so at home there, and it's like, it's my motherland, And so when I come back, like the first time I came back from seeing my family, I was very bad. Like I was so emotional and upset and like, I'm never going to see them again. My dad's deported for life. So it's like a, what's the word? Like double-edged sword, when you're like, okay, well, I can see you, but you can't come see me. So now I have no choice but to go there. Right. But then when I was like, I'm just going to invest in some land. And then I was like, well, instead of investing in it, why don't I just build my home and move there? Like I can work online, I have my Airbnb license here. Like I can rent out my house. Like I started taking these steps because I was like, I need to get out of here because the desert, it served its purpose for me. I love it because I would never have started my show if I didn't move here. I would have never got into healing mentally or physically, but it's very different. Like East Coast to West Coast is very different for me. It still kind of irks me sometimes, and then the air quality here is horrible, as you can hear in my voice. Well, I was at karaoke last night, so that's why I sound like this.
Scream your lungs out.
And when I came back from like Nicaragua air or even anywhere I leave and I come back here, it's automatic, just like nastiness, and it's like we have the worst air quality, the worst water. There's no beach, but the quality of life is really good. So that's why I'm saying it, like it served its purpose. purpose.
Yeah.
And I can always come back to it if I need to. But I don't have a lot of friends here. I don't have any family members here. It's just me. And I've been rocking solo. And that's how I've been able to go so deep into all these things because all I got is time.
You
know what I mean?
You said, it served its purpose. You are here serving the purpose that you needed. Because if you were around all the influence, and I can tell you, me living in California and moving here, it basically gave me I am not responsible for even the calls. Now, granted, they can still call. My family members can call me and with issues and things like that. But family and friends who would call you just on the regular or show up at the house, which was okay with me, but show up at the house and they have problems or I need to ride. Can you pick me up? None of those distractions are here. When I moved to Las Vegas, none of my kids came with me. I separated from the guy I'm still sort of dating. We're dating, but we're not married. So I was separated from him. And so I was like, I'm doing this by myself. I'm doing this with a new lease on life, a big change. And I need it all to happen now. This change has to happen. And if I do all this moving, to me, there's no way in heck I'm going to bring in old baggage, old drama, old traumas. We're going to work on these. And so those are things I've been doing. If you met me 4 years ago, even 4 and 5 years ago, I was on this journey silently. I'm on this journey now vocally. And I love that because I definitely feel like when I was doing it silently, it's great. You got to have some silent time into yourself. But now as I express myself, I'm talking to the people who could impact my happiness. And I'm letting them know my boundaries. I'm letting them know like what I will and will not accept. And I'm letting them know like I offer them in, but at this, here's what you can come in, but these are the parameters in which you can come into. Right. And when I was quiet and silent about it, it was one of those things I was working on myself. It's like those things where people say you don't have to leave a relationship right away. Just start working on the things that you need to work on. So when you're ready to leave, you can go. I'm more so I did that. I started working on things silently within myself. Now I'm at a point I'm like, now I need to vocally tell you, here's what I'm going to do. Here's not what I'm not going to do. Here's where you cannot, penetrate me anymore. And if you do that, boundaries been crossed and you got to go.
No one is free from getting cut off or putting a boundary. Even your parents, I learned.
And my father, my real father, we have conversations for no longer than, and I know he's not going to even watch this if you do, I'm going to tell you, we have conversations for no longer than maybe 2 minutes before he's asking for money. Yeah. My real father, not my stepdad. I have to say that very clearly. I love you so much, stepdaddy. But my real father, we have our conversations don't get further than that. I know his habits, his bad habits, the street life that he's had, has not changed and will not change. He's over 70 something years old. If he changes, great. I'm not going to say he won't ever change, but if he changes, great. But those conversations actually bring me back to that little kid. And then the pressure's on. I mean, if I call you and say, Nina's my name at home. Nina, I'm hungry. You got a couple of dollars? I'm 45 years old and it's a trigger. And I haven't figured that out. So that's one of those things. Like I said, I know there's some things I'm just going to be like, I can't.
We put our parents on a pedestal, and that's what I learned. Like, you don't put nobody on a pedestal. They were just do the best they could with what they provided, or what was provided to them. And it might not have been the best road, right? Because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Right. But in this day and age, we have tools and access to so much different things so that you can break the pattern for your kids or your grandkids or your friends or whatever. It's all information education. So I'm really proud that you're doing this because this is going to gear you into so much. Like, once you know your power and once you accept your past and your mistakes and your traumas, nobody can use them against you anymore.
Absolutely not.
Right? So like I'm very open with my stories now about everything because I used to be like really embarrassed how I grew up or the things that have happened or things I went through, but like it was part of my story.
Here we are. We have had a great conversation, and I know we can have this conversation for 5 and 10 more hours, and we'd probably come up with a whole workshop, and Moni would come in and she'd make sure, because what she told us that day when we met that night, we were sitting there at the table. I don't know if you heard her. I know she was talking to me and the guy I was with. She was telling us, she's like, no, I turn everything into money. Everything needs to make money. Everything into, I forgot how she said it, but she said, no, everything we do turned into how we can actually turn that back and make some money and be successful. Anything we put out there, our energies, whether it's what we're talking about, what we put on social media, like you said, she came with a whole plan for you. Like, no, we need to turn this into a toolkit, right? I'm there. I'm right there. And I feel like if we sat long enough, we'd be coming up with all type of things that we need to do and get it done, because that's what I'm about these days, getting stuff done.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited to help you on your journey and everything.
I do. Let's already put that in the bank already to work together on this gut health. As we sit here, look, I haven't even eaten. My stomach's like, I'm like, my stomach's talking to you now. But I want to be able to make sure to do that. But I also want people to know where to find you. So please let everyone know where to find you.
So you can go on fatedtruth.com. That's my podcast website. On there, you'll be able to stream all 4 seasons for free through Red Coral Universe. I will probably start season 5 next year, but I took a break because as a creative, doing everything myself, after years and years of this, it got to me, right? And then it geared me into my wellness business. So that's, you can find me on Instagram at Faded Truth. The link is in there for Wellness Buzz, which is my wellness business. You could go on mywellnessbuzz.com where I have plant-based supplements for sleep, pain, energy, brain function, all different things, glucose, like everything you can imagine. And then you can also find links to my coaching. I can do free consultations, and then we can see if we are fit to work together. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on now, and just ready to get out the country.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to getting this podcast out again. We have Angie here. She's given us so many nuggets. I sat here and felt like I was being on the interview or just receiving side for everything. So I hope you did as well. You've given me so many nuggets that I needed to, again, personally work on. That's what I wanted this to be. This is not about who you are, where you've been, and things like that. It's like what products, what services, what can you provide? That's really what I wanted Too Skilled to Fail to be about. In a short kind of sentence or 2 or 3, what does too skilled mean to you?
Too skilled. Well, so it's too skilled to fail. So, I mean, I just feel like you're too skilled. Like, you have it all. There's no way you could fail. You believe in yourself. You have the skills, but now you have to utilize them. Because I had those skills my whole life, and I wasn't putting them to work, right? Because I wasn't working on myself. So you can't fail because you already got the skills. Everyone has the talent. It's already in you. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you're doing, you have it in you. You just have to find it. So you can't fail if you believe in yourself. Always bet on yourself. You're the only person you have at the end of the day. And you working on yourself is going to just help everything around you. Your life will change. So don't give up on yourself ever.
All right. There we go. Again, Tanisha Smith with the T. Smith Experience and the Too Skilled to Fail episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Yay.